guess this year really wasn't bad.
I had a great year this year. 2015 treated me quite well.
So how do you stimulate development in underdeveloped areas without giving away the store? We helped several communities answer that question.
But last week we were discussing whether the DeKalb Commission would in fact grant a tax allocation district to allow Egbert Perry's development to proceed on that GM plant site. Jeff said the commission would approve it. They did unanimously. I thought it was interesting that the DeKalb School Board and the superintendent pointed to Atlanta's Beltline TAD, or Tax Allocation District, where Kasim Reed has withheld the money from the Atlanta Public Schools.
And so this is a completely different approach that works well for everybody.
I became a lot more involved in our local AARP chapter and ended up becoming president of the East Point AARP chapter. As the year progressed, I was then appointed to the Executive Council for the state of Georgia for AARP. A couple of months after that, I received a gubernatorial appointment to the Fort McPherson Local Redevelopment Authority, a group that will be focused on transforming what was a BRAC closure of Fort McPherson. And thoroughly looking forward to the work with that group and what we will do to serve as a catalyst to redevelopment in our community.
We presented an honorary degree to Sherilyn Eiffel, the Thurgood Marshall of our time, who only a week before had narrowly escaped a harrowing Amtrak crash north of Philadelphia.
Spent my 60th birthday where it all started, with my mother up in Michigan. However, a week before, my darling spouse took me to Mohonk Mountain House in New Paltz, New York, and I was able to get back to some of my youthful roots. What many of you may not know is, as a young child, my father, who was an artist, taught me how to work with charcoals and pastels, and I kind of left that behind except for my love for art. However, at Mohonk Mountain House, I had the opportunity to watercolor once again, and had not done that since nursery school.
We spent our week in the canyons of Malibu in a house that was the star of its own movie.
We made not one but 2 trips to California this year. Had the opportunity to see my brother briefly. Charles had a National Bar Association conference there that we attended, and we also spent a week in Malibu. We also went to the wedding of my good friend Phyllis's son, Lance, to Shamika Wilder, who is now Mrs. Lance Jones, or Miss Shamika Wilder Jones, in Santa Barbara, California. And I've always said I could never live in California, but if there's one place that I could live, it would be Santa Barbara, California.
Georgia's sickle cell patients now have new treatment options, and people are finally starting to talk about the importance of diversity on the bench.
Courtney has continued with her career with Southwest Airlines, now having 9 years of service under her belt, and I still have the ability to get that little perk that parents get of flying free.
Say hello to Mrs. Charles S. Johnson IV, the former Kira Dixon. She and Charles continue to travel the world and grow the family at the same time, while Chris continues to mature into one of Georgia's leading premises liability defense attorneys.
Colin is proceeding with his photography business. He is also focused on what he calls conceptual art, where he has taken images that he's used over the years and turned it into actual pieces of art.
I had a couple of successes with my photography. I had an art show on Peachtree Street, and people continue to like my stuff and they pay me to do my thing.
Madison is my little trumpeter now. She has improved so very much that I am hoping in another year or so I will be able to talk to you about her having been taken on by Youth Symphony here in Atlanta. She also was recently made the basketball team at her school. She continues to do junior beta in school and is doing very, very well academically.
Then I went to 7th grade playing trumpet still, and then went to basketball. And I made the middle school basketball team and played for Sandtown Rec too. My favorite book this year was Diary of a Kid, Old School. And I read that in like 3 hours. Oh, my favorite subject in school is ELA and PE,
What is ELA?
English Language Arts,
Why?
because teacher.
Ansley is immersed in her gymnastics and competing at level 4 at this point, and will begin traveling come January with out-of-town competitions this year in Baton Rouge and in Hilton Head, which I am looking forward to going to. And Ansley is no slouch in the classroom either.
I actually did gymnastics. I started on level 3, first year, and I actually read a few really good books. The series that I really love is Dork Diaries. I basically have all the books because they're really good. But I think the most thing I accomplished this year is making myself happy and how I can do better every year.
Very proud of the way these youngsters are growing up and the young women they are becoming.
My mother spent an unprecedented amount of time in Georgia bonding with her first great-grandchild.
Charles V turned 1, had a wonderful birthday party with a carnival theme, the kind of party that most of us probably would have dreamed of as kids. 2015 was a year of loss.
Those who transitioned included Dr. Robert Threet, Helen Threet, Representative Louis Stokes, Robin Cavanis Washington Banks, Leonora Davis,
Charles Edwards, Les Roberts, Barbara Meriday, Eugene Meriday,
Dr. Beverly Hall, Ozell Sutton, James Anthony,
Alice Holmes Washington, Dr. Carl Washington, Julian Bond,
Matawilda Dobbs, and Dr. Bruce Shropshire. There were so many, I fear in naming names I may have inadvertently missed someone. Blame it on my head, not my heart. All are missed.
Suffice it to say, theirs were lives well lived, and the blessing was that they entered our lives for some period of time and made their mark.
So it was a great year, and I hope to continue the success and momentum into 2016 for a grandiose and enjoyable time. Love you.
Happy New Year! Happy New Year!